So today we're going to work on the hyperbola, and we're going to take it off of the origin today. So I think you'll find this is not bad. Normally students really struggle with the conics, and I have found now this is the first time I broke it up into, like, we do the origin real simply, move it off the origin. Just taking our time, I think, has made it pretty.
Recording?
I am.
Are you sure? I didn't see the button. That was.
Yeah, it was there.
Well, I mean, I know the button was there, but
It's
I didn't
recording
see it
right now.
Yes, it is. Thank you. So let's look at example 3. It says find the standard form of the equation of the hyperbola with foci at -1, 2 and 5, 2 and has vertices 0, 2, 4, 2. So what we need to do is we're going to plot some points and see what's going on. All right, -1, 2, this is a foci. 5, 2 is a foci. So what do we know after plotting the two foci? What can we conclude?
Horizontal.
Good job. It has a horizontal transverse axis. So if it's horizontal, that's x minus h squared over a squared minus y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. So first we know the transverse axis is horizontal. What other piece of information do we know just plotting the foci? We know something else. Anybody? What's in the middle of the two foci? Oh, the center. We know the center. So here we go. Let's count in. 1, 2. So the center's right here at 2, 2. Now, we're not asked to graph this, okay? But you do have to sort of plot some of it to get going. So I now know h and k, and I need to find a and b, and then that's it. So I've got the vertices are at 0, 2, and 4, 2. There's the vertex. Do you remember that if this is along the transverse axis, A is the distance between the center and the vertex. So what's A? 2. We also know C. C is the distance from the center to the foci. Isn't that 3? And all we need is B. How are we going to find B? C. Good job. C squared equals A squared plus B squared. So I'm getting 9 equals 4 plus B squared. So B squared is 5. I don't need to find B. I just need B squared. So I'm ready to write my equation. So this is x minus 2 squared over 4 minus y minus 2 squared over 5 equals 1. Any questions on that one? All right, example 4 says sketch the hyperbola given by this equation. Now I want you to notice there is no y, there's just a y squared. So we'll let this play out and see what's happening. But I need to complete the square, but before I do that, I cannot have a coefficient in front of the x squared when I'm completing the square. So I factor out the 4 and get x squared plus 2x plus, and I'll be proactive here. I'm going to take half of 2, which is 1, and square it, but I have to add 4 to the other side because that's the net effect. So I get 4 times the quantity, x plus 1 squared minus 3y squared equals -12. And this is the first time we've seen this. This is weird. Our right side is a negative number. And that is actually okay. What do we need to do to both sides of this equation? No? -12. Okay. Okay, so this is going to give me x plus 1 squared over negative 3 plus y squared over 4 equals 1. Now, okay, we haven't seen one like this. We haven't seen it where it was equal to a negative, and then what's happening here, Tyler?
Well, you could use like a commutative property and switch them so that you have the minus after it, like hyperbola.
Good job. It's supposed to be a hyperbola, so one of them's negative, so you do need to switch the order, and I like your mathematical vocabulary, your commutative property. Okay, that was good, Tyler.
Thank you.
So I can tell the center. What is the center now?
Negative 1.
How about
Zero,
negative
negative
1,
one,
0?
That's what I meant.
Close.
Okay.
Just feeling a little dyslexic.
A is 2, and B is the square root of 3. We can find C by doing C squared equals A squared plus B squared. So C squared equals 4 plus 3. So C will be plus or minus the square root of 7. Alrighty, so let's make a grid. And start doing the work. So my center is at negative 1, 0. Now, is this one horizontal or vertical transverse axis? Vertical. How do you know that, Adam?
Because the y squared was first.
Good. The y squared came first, so y is vertical. So I'm going to use A. A is 2, and I'm going to go from the center up 2 units, and then go down 2 units. So I have vertices at negative 1, 2, and negative 1, negative 2. And remember, with a hyperbola, we're going to use B to complete the box. And then we'll talk about how you do the asymptotes here. It's a little bit more complicated, but not difficult. So radical 3 is kind of close to 2. So we'll go 1, almost to the 2. And I'm going to go up to the vertex. And I'm going to go down here. And then go 1, almost 2. And make my box. So then I have, and be careful, you're going to do through the corners and the center, not necessarily the origin unless the center is at the origin. And so then you can just draw your hyperbola hugging those asymptotes. Does everybody understand that? So I went right a radical 3, left a radical 3 to complete the box. Let's talk asymptotes. The difference here is that, I still have a slope. I'm going up to right radical 3. Okay, so it's plus or minus 2 over radical 3. And I would like you guys to get in the habit of using point slope. I know we didn't use it that much, but surprisingly it comes up in calculus. So we're going to go ahead and practice it here at the end of the year. If I have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Well, my point is the center. Negative 1, 0 represents x sub 1, y sub 1. And then we can just plug this in and we'll call it a day. So y sub 1 is 0, so this is y equals plus or minus 2 over radical 3 times x plus 1. We are not going to simplify that radical. We're going to be happy. We're going to be happy to have that. The last thing we need is the foci is C units from the center. So radical 7 is, between 2 and 3, right? So 1, 2, so it's actually kind of close here. So that's at x is -1, but then it's plus or minus radical 7, isn't it? -1, comma, plus or minus radical 7. There we go. All right, let's stop, look, think about that one. Do we have everything? Is there anything else we could have written down? I've got my asymptotes, the vertices, the center, the foci, and the standard form, the graph.
Do you still need to write down the covertices?
What do you mean
There
covert?
There aren't any covertices.
There aren't covertices. You're thinking of an ellipse. An ellipse has covertices, but not a hyperbola.